Oh no, he's on fire.
He's actually on fire. I was like, Christ! Weirdly, it's all done in the simulator. Engine size of the 777 is basically the same size as the fuselage on the 73. But actually, it was a different Brooks in R7B at the French Grand Prix.
Welcome to Vintage Velocity, the podcast from the Vintage Sports Car Club. I'm Laura Plattman, and today we're here with Steph Wilton. Hello.
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 Good morning.
Good morning. So for those listening only, we are sitting in Steph's dad's garage. We're sitting in the Bentley Speed Six. To my left, or stage right, we've got an ERA. Stage left, we've got, what have we got there? We've got a Cooper Bristol. And then in the next sort of woodshed, we've got a little Austin.
Yeah, we've got an Austin Ulster.
We've
recently sort of rebuilt, restored, so we can get rolling in.
Yeah. So, Steph, the reason why I wanted to come and talk to you is because you fly a bloody big plane. It's a Boeing 737. Mm-hmm. And it carries people, but we've got the garage doors open and we've got lots of geese and chickens and
you can hear the local seagulls flying past.
Seagulls.
I think that's what it is.
Because we're almost in France, actually, aren't we? Where we are. So you used to fly a cargo plane, and now you fly passengers. Now, when did you start this? When did you start that?
So I actually started my whole sort of training process in 2018. I left university. I'd studied biomedical science and I didn't know what to do.
Biomedical science to planes, okay.
Yes, and it wasn't actually until I was at a race meeting with the VSCC and I was in my final year at uni and I was like, I don't know what to do once I've left. And I met somebody in the paddock and I was just chatting away and they were racing with Dad and they were a pilot. And so they were telling me about their job and their lifestyle, and it sort of had planted a seed that I thought, oh, actually, that's rather interesting. I think I'd quite like to do that. It's a little bit mechanical, but you're not a mechanic. There's a little bit maths, but you're not a mathematician. It's a real sort of people orientated job.
There's 189 people in the back?
Yes. Apart from with the cargo lot, that was just me and the captain, so a lot quieter. So I started training in 2018 and did 3 years with a company. Did my ground school in Coventry and then the practical flying down in Bournemouth.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I qualified during the pandemic, so not a great time for aviation, which I'm sure you can appreciate. So I then worked in a nursery school with little kids for 2 years.
God, changing.
So absolute 180 from what I had planned to do with my life at that point. But I'm a firm believer that everything happens for a reason. And it was actually one of the lovely mums there who worked for this cargo company. And she massively helped me get a foot through the door. So I then started working for West Atlantic. Which again, they flew the 73 out of, in the UK mainly, so we would deliver lots of your raw mail letters and parcels up from sort of Aberdeen to Edinburgh, Belfast, Stansted, all into East Midlands. I was with them for a year, and then last year I joined TUI. So I've gone from cargo to self-loading cargo, as I like to call them.
With lots of children,
Yes, quite a few children.
With lots of children, which you got your training of how to look after children. Yeah. Like they can all come up front and see you. Do you have people come up front and see you?
Yeah, often do. Especially if there's delays, we'll open up the flight deck so that children can come in and see what's going on.
So what was it like having your first passenger cargo?
Odd. Really odd. So usually behind the flight deck door there was nothing. There was just a big white wall and boxes and stuff like that. So actually to open the door and then see faces staring at you, and obviously we're the people at the front, so everyone is looking towards us, was quite intimidating. So that's why I call them self-loading cargo.
So you trained on a smaller plane, obviously, like a Cessna or something or other.
Yeah, so I trained on what they call a Diamond, DA40, which is a single engine. So we were based out of Bournemouth and we would sort of dart all along the south coast, go over to Newquay, I did my cross country actually. We went up to Gloucester and then came over via sort of Essex and south to Lydd. And Mum and Dad came and met me then in Lydd when I landed there, which was a really sort of special moment.
And then when did you get to go onto a big plane?
Weirdly, it's all done in the simulator. So all of your training for a plane is done in a simulator.
That sounds like I don't ever want to go on a plane.
No, it's incredible. It's so realistic. It basically is the exact copy of a flight deck. It comes from the same production line, but with the help of computers, it's so realistic. And you can
even the takeoff, like?
No, it's 100% the same. And it is absolutely fantastic. From a training perspective, it's so realistic that we can simulate failures and malfunctions, and you can practice them. And it's a very, very regulated industry where sort of every 6 months to a year have to go back in for training so that we can practice those sort of situations.
So I'm going to go into the motor racing side and the family history, but did any of that mechanical side make you aware of what goes on inside an aeroplane engine? I mean, you obviously don't know all the ins and outs of an aeroplane. I say obviously, that's not true at all. You might do, but you might not know all of the ins and outs, but you might know how the bloody thing works, how the combustion works.
Definitely. Part of our ground school, so the theoretical knowledge part of the training, we had to learn about lots of different engines. So piston engines all the way through to turbofan and jet engines.
And did this help you?
Definitely. And we had a really, really good instructor who sort of came in with pistons and camshafts and stuff like that. And I was like, I've seen those before. It's quite, you can recognise those. So by all means, I'm not a mechanic, I'm not an engineer, but definitely have an appreciation and understanding for it.
So that's your day job. And then your weekend passion is racing and hill climbs and trialling. And that comes from growing up with your dad and I think your granddad also doing the same. Now let's start with your granddad. What was he racing or trialling or hill climbing?
So granddad and dad they've always had old cars, and granddad had a Riley, so started with hill climbing that. He never did racing, more just the hill climbs. He also shared the Cooper with dad when we were little, and they would go down to Wiscombe, and it would be our family holiday, and they would share the car for the event. But they've always had road going cars as well. Dad, when he was 18, restored a Roche Talbot. And so that when we were younger, we'd go on family holidays and things like that. There was a really, really lovely hill climb in Normandy called Etretat. And it was August bank holiday, and we'd always go every year as a family. Granddad would come and enter, Dad would enter, and then when Chessie and I were old enough, we would also enter.
Wow.
So we did, it was really, really lovely having, multiple generations at the same event.
Now you said that your dad restored. So your dad's, would you say he's a mechanic or an engineer? How is his brain in that sense of, how does he know what he's getting up to?
I don't think he would ever count himself as an engineer. He does the sort of basic mechanical stuff, but we've got a great friend called Simon who does all of the mechanical work on things. But Dad's forte is the research and the artistic side of a car restoration. So, for example, with this Bentley, he's spent 7 years restoring all of the tiny minutiae detail that makes it the exact replica of old number 2. And it's little things that you won't even notice, but he does.
Now, because for the people who are listening only, this is number 2 Speed 6. Do you know what year this is?
1928.
And it's British racing green, and it's stunning. It's
absolutely massive. We've nicknamed it the lorry.
We are sitting in the back.
And when you're sat at the back, the radiator feels like it's in a different county.
It is definitely it's definitely not in Kent.
Absolutely ridiculous. But it's great fun. It's not long being restored, actually. He finished it this summer. So it's done a couple of miles under it. And there's a few teething problems, which always comes.
And where's this going to get used and utilised?
Well, I think it's going to have a few tours, a few holidays. more so to keep my mother happy.
And look at the luggage space.
There's lots of space. And it sits on the motorway. We took it between junctions on the M20, and it will sit at sort of 70 miles per hour in top gear, doing sort of 2,000 RPM, just nice. Blah, 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 really low. It is such a good touring car. And I think they'd love to go onto the continent, maybe drive around France or something like that.
It's absolutely key for it, especially 1928. I mean, that's Saint-Tropez, Cannes, Monaco, down
possibilities are endless.
St. Moritz. I mean, 1928 is just the age of glamour. It's just
Don't say all these places in front of my mum, because then she'll be writing a list.
I'm just about to
tick them off. Like, oh, brilliant! Yes, we'll go here, there, then here.
We'll just go tell all the places she needs to go to. Of course, you need to stay at the Café de Paris. You need to start at Claridge's. You're nearly in the coast, so you don't need to start at Claridge's. But if you're in London, you'd start at Claridge's, where the Ladies Automobile Club were, and then you start there, and then you come down, and then of course you go to Hotel de France near Le Mans, and then down to the Ardèche and Route Napoleon. And
where are we going then, Laura?
I've got it sorted. I've got it sorted.
You've got the route. It's fine.
Off to Valence, then down Route Napoleon, and then. Top of Col de Turbi, Col Turini, down to some, that's it. It's perfect.
Done. Sorted. We have sort of had a joke and said we'd like to do a 2-driver race at some point, but Dad, we've not nicknamed it the lorry for any other reason. It is quite a heavy unit.
You're near the finish line
so
before you start.
we need to start working out some upper arm strength just to be able to tackle it through some corners, I think. But hopefully one day we'll be able to do that.
Because the Benjafields lot do all those Bentley races, don't they?
They do a sort of 24-hour race.
Yeah.
And I know there's one, they did one down in Portugal.
That'd be good.
Yeah, we'll have to get into some sort of gym routine, I think.
Watch the space, everybody. Watch the space. Now, we've got another car on our left, which is the ERA.
Yes, this is R7B.
And now, you've got some notes.
I do. Some fun facts about this car.
Should we have some fun facts?
You can do.
Let's have some fun facts.
I have these just so my brain doesn't fail me.
No, so it's all, let's get the right facts. I've got facts as well.
So R7B was first owned by Arthur Dobson, created in 1936, and it's the only ERA that's got a nickel-plated radiator. So it's quite sort of distinguishable for that. She's taken lots of different appearances. She's been red in periods, cream with a black chassis, but Dad's sort of restored her back to her original colours as cream with the cream chassis. In pre-war, 1938, the sort of gaggle of Mercedes came over from the continent, and at Donington, 1938, R7B was the first British car to finish the race behind the gaggle of Mercedes. Then obviously World War II broke out. After World War II, in 1946, so it's the sort of first year post-war, I hadn't appreciated how quickly things had sort of resumed back to normal.
Yeah.
But in the French Grand Prix, there was a gentleman called Brooks who won the French Grand Prix in this car. And lots of people think that there's a gentleman called Brooks who raced a Connaught, and he was the first British person in a British car to win a Grand Prix post-war. But actually, it was a different Brooks in R7B at the French Grand Prix. And then it raced for the first time at Goodwood in 48 and came second there at one of the meetings. So it's just an amazing car with so much history. And we're just sort of a little snippet.
Now you're the custodians of it.
Yeah, definitely. And we've had it for about sort of 10 years now. And my dad's been racing it sort of for us, and he's had absolute amazing fun in it. A few years where mechanically, it's a very temperamental car. It's got a pre-selector gearbox and a supercharger, so there's always been a few problems. But he's really got to grips with it in the last couple of years, and he's had such great fun with it. But we are hoping one day, my sister and I...
Did he race it at Goodwood recently?
Yes.
Because there was a race with 13 ERAs or 11 ERAs.
So the Goodwood Trophy at the Revival, which happens every year, that is usually a an event that draws in the ERAs. So lots of people travel from all over the world. We've got a gentleman who comes over from California, Paddins, Charles McCapey comes over from America too. And it's great to see all of the ERAs sort of reunited for that annual event. It is great.
Now, you asked me off camera, are there any women that drove ERAs? Because you and your sister want to drive it. It's crazy enough. Only last series on these podcasts, I spoke to Victor Riley, whose mother, Dorothy, tested the ERA in 1935. And Victor said that he was nearly born in the ERA because she was so heavily pregnant. Because in 1934, she had raced in the Le Mans 24 Hour in Riley with Kay Petre, who we're going to talk about in a minute. And they did so well that she wanted to race in 1935, but she'd married Victor, who's Victor's Riley Jr.'s father, and he wouldn't let her race. So she was pretty upset. And so she went off and tested an ERA in 1935, and she was heavily pregnant. So she was one person that drove an ERA. But then I have another woman who drove an ERA, and I need some, I might need a bit of, she tested it for Raymond Mays.
The infamous Raymond Mays, Mr. ERA himself.
Yeah, so she tested it for Raymond Mays. Now, the other person that I found out who drove an ERA was Sheila Derbyshire. And she drove it in 1948 at the Bowness Hill Climb at the Kinnell Estate in Scotland. And she shared the car with Reg Parnell.
Another classic ERA name.
she came 8th place at the Bowness Hill Climb.
Whoa.
So that's good, because I don't know how many entered, but 8th place is overall is pretty good.
They're quite, they're not an easy car to drive. So actually, I think
pretty good. Now she drove the R11B, 1948. So if anyone out there knows a little bit more about Sheila Derbyshire, I'm starting to research her now because I'd only just started finding out about her. But let us know in the comments, and I'll keep going. But that's two women.
If anybody knows of any women
any other women who drove the ERA,
who've driven ERAs.
So you haven't driven that yet?
No, not yet. We've we sort of have a joke that if we've sort of stolen all of Dad's toys and had fun. He used to race the Cooper, and now that we're old enough and experienced enough, he's let us have a go. And if we suddenly sort of claim back that car, then he'll never ever get anything back. He'll have to be a real
But isn't that the point of just sharing everything?
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think one day we will. But it is a very different car to drive, and I think we've got to be
Tell him about these two women.
You've got to be really experienced and confident to be able to drive in a grid with that car.
And so you raced the Cooper at Cooper Bristol. That's on circuits.
Yeah. So I started sprinting it and doing hill climbs with the VSCC first. They're just a great way to get sort of introduced to events, especially as I hadn't got my race licence fully at this point. The VSCC, obviously it's vintage sports car club, but they do have a post-war class for it. So we've had some good fun with it. And then I started racing it in 2019.
And where have you been racing that?
So taking it, we've had a few problems with it. Dad took it to Zandvoort in 2019 and had a small, maybe bonfire in it. And it was the first time that I put the GoPro on it. And we were with friends.
How's the GoPro?
It survived, actually, completely unharmed. But with friends, and they're like, "Oh, your dad's on fire." And I was like,
"Yeah, he's on fire.
Well done him. This is incredible." And then I looked round, I was like,
Oh no, he's on fire.
He's actually on fire. I was like, Christ. And then obviously 2020, the pandemic hit. So there was no racing.
Perfect time to get the car fixed.
Exactly. And Dad has had it, sort of 20 years by this point, since we were little.
Oh, so
and
he'd really
never ever had it sort of chassis level up restoration. So he thought, right, now we've got the pandemic, we'll do that. So I remember it was a really hot day, and I'd taken all the body panels off and I had a sander, and I spent the day sanding all the paint off, and it was quite a few layers from its sort of time over the years.
What year is that?
So this is a 53.
Okay.
53. So it's a Mark II. The Mark I was sort of famously raced by Mike Hawthorne in the 50s, and this is a Mark II. You can tell because it's got a shorter snorkel on the nose. But we've had great fun. My sister started hill climbing it too. But post-pandemic, it is not been quite right. They're sort of like little children cars. They work for you absolutely fine, and then when you put them on public display, they always misbehave.
Oh,
so it has,
naughty.
So we had a year of a few teething issues, and so I had a season where I didn't actually finish a race, unfortunately, and then took it to the members' meeting last year, and Dad had an invite in R7B. And then we got the invite with the Cooper, and I thought, well, you can't race both. They're in the same race.
Oh,
and
dear
I was like,
me.
Any chance? I can understand that he'd say no, because it's one thing racing with the VSCC, but...
And also, Goodwood has got no runoffs. It's a very fast circuit. Mm-hmm. It's very technical. It's very fast. Also, everyone racing at Goodwood usually does so many races, and it's extremely
there's a lot
experienced.
Of professionals and a lot of experience of people,
and a lot of sort of
there.
not at the members' meeting. There's a lot of sort of stars that are racing as well, kind of thing. But celebrities that are racing that don't always race but can race, and that knowing how they race and the reliability of everybody is a bit different.
Yeah, and we sort of call them the page drivers.
Yeah.
So they come to do well in a car, bring some success to it. But actually what is great about, especially the Goodwood Trophy that happens at the Revival, there's a lot of owner drivers.
Yeah.
And you all race with each other quite a lot. So you appreciate each other's abilities.
And you know who they are. And
Exactly. And so we knew quite a few of the people in this race at the members' meeting. And I'm not going to be a front runner. I'm never going to win. It's not a front running sort of car. I'm not a front running person. It was the taking part that counts. But that was the sort of agreement. I did a test day, and the car was absolutely brilliant up until the sort of second to last lap of practice. And she just cut out on me going along the Levant Straight. And I remember thinking, right, I'm going to have to tuck in, and there's like a little sort of lay-by by the Shell building. I think it's Woodcut. And I thought, I tucked in then. I asked the chaps to sort of push me in, because I didn't want Dad, who was in the same practice, to see that I'd potentially come off and then worry him. So I was really worried that he was going to worry and that he'd be upset that I'd broken his car, when actually he said he saw the car. He wasn't worried at all, because he'd looked for skid marks and tyres, and he said there was no damage. So, so hopefully this will be the year.
Oh, so you didn't race because it came off at practice?
Yeah,
you didn't get fixed?
Unfortunately, we had engine problems that couldn't be fixed there and then.
So you're going to
had to retire.
You're going to do a members' meeting again this year?
No, unfortunately, the
this is
grid doesn't happen every year. I think it happens every 5 years or something. So I'll be just with the VSCC.
Okay.
This year.
Oh God! Oh my God!
So we've been a little bit jinxed, but hopefully we'll be back on track.
Yeah, you've just got to get him working again.
But that's the thing with the VSCC. What is really lovely is if you ever have a problem, there's always someone there who can help. If you've forgotten something, someone is there to lend a hand, or the component, or whatever. And it is a really lovely atmosphere at these events. Whatever the event may be, we've had it at hill climbs too. People have broken down. There's always someone there to offer their assistance.
I mean, I'm a photographer and a journalist, and when I'm going around asking, I've seen them they've done really well in the practice and the qualifying, and then I say, right, are you ready for the race? And there's someone running across in the same race, bringing them their spare, just so that it could be an even playing field. And
I absolutely love people's spirit for the occasion. Their gearbox is gone. That's not going to stop them. They will give it a go. And Simon, our friend who helps us with and does all of our cars, he's brilliant for that. Nothing, if he says, no, we can't fix it, it can't be fixed, because he's fixed Dad's gearbox in the paddock of Goodwood. You know, it's incredible what he can do.
I love walking around at night, especially at the Monaco Historic as well. That's when everyone works at night. And I'm there and I just think, right, I need to go and get sandwiches for people because they're doing something. And I've finished kind of taking pictures. So I run off and get food and hot drinks. And it's just perfect because they're like...
It's the sort of behind the scenes, isn't it? It's the sides of the events that you don't see.
Yeah.
And it is great. It is lovely.
When some cars are in their pyjamas and others are being worked on and welded, you know...
When they've like lost the back end or something because they're needing so much work doing to them. Yeah. And they're like, how are you going to get that finished for tomorrow?
But they will.
Yeah.
There's 12 hours. They can sort it out. You've also got a trialling car next door. We're moving on to different cars here.
Yeah.
We've got the Austin
We
Trials.
are very, very fortunate.
We've got the Austin Trials car next door. It's two-seater. Now that's a barn. Can I do inverted brackets with my fingertips or something? I'm showing inverted brackets for those listening. It's a barn find. What do you mean? It's not really, is it?
It's not. It's newly restored, but this is the sort of side that Dad loves, the sort of artistic element. He's patinated the bodywork and all of the paint to make it look sort of old, as it were. He did it with our first Austin, the Kay Petre rep, and I think it's a great way of making something actually have some sort of historical element to it, and having a nod to that past that these older cars can have. But the trials car started because he found a chassis on eBay and thought, that is such good value. I can't let anyone else have that. And it was for sale in Kent. So he was like, it's calling me. It's calling me. And he always needs to have some sort of project. And so that's how that project came about.
And how long has that taken to get working and trialling?
A sort of couple of years. It was finished just before Christmas. So we spent sort of Christmas period, my sister and I, driving around the country lanes near where we live and trying to get some miles under the belt so that we can then enter it as a trial with the VSCC.
So you're driving it around the roads just to run the engine in or give it
in case there's any problems with it. We've sort of been advised to do roughly 500 miles because a trial is brutal on the cars. Great fun, absolutely brilliant. But mechanically, it is mean. The cars are really put through their paces.
I mean, I'm just visualising everyone bouncing up and down.
Yeah. And, wheels and going in the air, there's high revs and on the sort of suspensions and stuff like that, you're really giving it some. Hopefully my sister and I will then be able to have again. We've done lots of bouncing for friends over the years, and that has been... We've had so many funny times. A few wet times because obviously you're outside all day in old cars and that's just part of the fun of it. But yeah, hopefully.
I mean, that's a nice small little car. I'm pointing, by the way, everybody who's just listening, I'm pointing to the next garage, which none of us can see anyway. It's hiding in the woodshed.
It doesn't actually exist. We're lying.
It is next door. So it is a small little car, and it's so different to the Cooper Bristol and the ERA, and of course this big lorry that we're sitting in, which is the Bentley Speed Six. You obviously have to adapt to each car that you're racing, trialling and hill climbing. Tell me about that. How do you adapt to each of these different scenarios?
I'm fortunate that I'm quite tall. So when I go into a car, I don't tend to have a problem. However, my sister is slightly shorter than I, so she does have a little bit of a problem. When we first built the single-seater, I remember sitting in it and having like a seat check, as it were, and my knees were up by my ears and there wasn't enough space, and Dad was like, that's not a problem, we'll just move the seat back a couple of inches. Perfect, brilliant. And then my sister got in it. She was like, I can't touch the pedals, I can't see over the windscreen. So we've given her a little booster seat, so she's got a little leather, it's actually from an old aeroplane, so that she can then be as comfortable. But they're all pretty much, it sounds really silly, I don't find them any different. Once you're in, you're so busy thinking about whatever you're doing.
Also, I was just thinking about your day job in the sense that you're flying this big plane, which goes on, you start off at at Gatwick and you're already halfway, your back end of the plane is sort of Glasgow or something. It's so, no, I'm joking, of course, but I mean, it's so long. And the difference is, there's no, once you're in the cockpit, there's no difference about stuff, is there?
You don't have any sense of scale, really, or size or anything like that. And in the grand scheme of aircraft, the 737 is actually quite small. So it's, twin engined, I say only 189 passengers. When you've got the A380 and the 777 next door, I'm pretty sure I'm right in saying that the engine size of the 777 is basically the same size as the fuselage on the 737. It's that much bigger. So it's just a little baby aircraft, really, on the fleet.
I mean, I've driven 12 people in a minibus. That was quite nerve-wracking. Mind you, it was around some Cornish lanes or something. But so I was just thinking about the car that you've sold on to Patrick Blakeney-Edwards, because he wanted it for his children. Mm-hmm. But your father restored that car for his children, for you and your sister. Mm-hmm. And it's the Austin single-seater Kay Petre replica. And tell us a little bit about that. And do you know much about Kay Petre? Because I've got some information for you.
I'm going to learn something. So Dad started restoring the single-seater when my sister and I were teenagers. And he'd had 2 girls and he'd thought, they're not going to be interested in cars. But he thought, well, I'll restore this car that was driven by a lady in period, and he thought that would be an absolutely fitting example of a car. And in true VSCC sort of fashion, he phoned up a friend of ours who's got the original car and said, look, any chance I could take some pictures of it, and explained that he was restoring it. And this gentleman, Mr. Way, was so lovely and just absolutely gorgeous. And he said, oh, don't take pictures, borrow the car. And so Dad was able to look at this car and all the details, and took a couple of years to restore it, and then we started hill climbing it. So I was sort of about 21, sort of early 20s, and first event was Wiscombe, which will always sit dear to my heart. If anyone's not been, you must go. It's really lovely, especially sort of towards the end. You go through the woods and there's bluebells usually at that time of year. It's really, really lovely event, and we've been going since we were little. And so started there, and then a couple of years later my sister started hill climbing too. But the Austin was an absolutely fantastic first car. So it really, really was. We had so much fun in it. I've been over to Zandvoort in Holland earlier last year. She taught us a lot, and we've got so many fond memories. And that's why when we were thinking about selling her, we thought she'd be the last one to go, because it was our first car. You get really emotionally attached to them. And Patrick, who I know you've interviewed, approached that he'd like it for his kids. I thought, this is perfect. That
works.
That is absolutely perfect.
You'll still see it race. See it racing.
Exactly.
It's going to some new children.
Yeah. I say children. They're
adults.
Yeah, they make me feel old. They grow up so quickly. Like, they were teeny tiny and they're now at racing age. And we know that they'll really look after it. They're such a fantastic family. Yeah. And it'll be so good that actually this car can now bring pleasure and enjoyment to somebody else.
So I've got some facts about Kay Petre, which you may know, but maybe some of our listeners and viewers don't know. So I thought I'd take this opportunity to
teach me,
to let us all know about Kay Petre. So Kay Petre lapped Brooklands in 1935 in her V12 Delage at 134.24 miles an hour. She used to be a prolific ice skating champion, but she married Henry Petre of Ingatstone Hall, and he married her across the thresholds of the Brooklands Flying Club in 1929. But they always called him Peter the Monk. They were so surprised that he actually got married. But she was absolutely stunning and very, very beautiful. And she always raced in pale blue overalls. and which is why her little car was pale blue as well. She raced a half-litre supercharged Type 35C Bugatti as well, and she got her first record was in 1934, 124 miles an hour, and then later on with the Delage, 134. Wow. So she painted all her cars to match her overalls, but she also wanted to be just as beautiful and as glamorous at the end of the race as at the beginning. Mm-hmm. So she would keep all of her cigarettes and lipstick and stopwatch and hairpins and various beauty supplies. And
the essentials. The stopwatch and the hairpins.
All the essentials in a little box underneath her seat. And that then went on, because in 1934 there was no space for carrying things and gloves. So so after that, the glove compartment was sort of invented, and she had helped organise that. So she, as I said earlier, she partnered up with Dorothy Riley, who was Dorothy Champney, in 1934 in the Riley Works car for Le Mans 24 Hour. And they came, where did they come? They came, the 11th, they came 11th, but they won the coveted Rudge Whitworth Cup. There were 6 Riley teams and they all came home intact.
Oh, that's amazing.
The first French woman also raced in 1934 at that time, Anne-Cécile Itiot, and she finished 17th in an MG. Let's carry on. Afterwards, in 1935, because Dorothy Riley was married to Victor Riley, the father of the current Victor Riley, and he didn't let her race, as I said earlier. And so Kay Petre partnered up with Elsie Wisdom, Bill Wisdom, who was Tommy Wisdom's wife, and their daughter, Annie Wisdom, rallied with Pat Moss. So let's see. There were so many people in that race. There was Margaret Allen, Colin Eaton, Doreen Evans, Barbara Skinner, Joan Richmond, Evelyn Gordon-Simpson, and the MG Works team was known as the Dancing Daughters. And the only thing that happened to their cars really was the light bulb needed changing on Doreen Evans' car.
Oh, it's amazing, isn't it?
So let's see. In 1935, it was good for Kay Petre in her Delage. And that, I said, she reached the 134.24 miles an hour.
And if you actually see pictures of Kay Petre next to this car, she was such a petite woman.
I was just thinking about your sister, because they put a block in front of the brake pad so she could reach the pedals, because she was very, very slight.
Yeah, and it's absolutely amazing that actually she must have been a little pocket rocket. It's a big car. I'm sure it was, heavy handling and things like that.
So it was amazing. And so there was this huge competition with Gwenda Stewart and Kay Petre in 1935, because Gwenda Stewart was driving a 1600cc Derby Miller, which was a land speed record straight from Paris. And Kay Petre was driving the V12 Delage, and they wanted to do a race to see who was the fastest. But the people at Brooklands wouldn't allow them to race together because of female excitability.
Yes, that's obviously a common problem. What? You can't imagine that now, can you? That's just crazy.
So they had to race separately, and they were getting 133, 135, 129 miles an hour. Both of them received the BARC 130 mile an hour badges, which are still held today. Finally, about Kay. So she was a correspondent for the Daily Sketch, and she was the first woman to join the Guild of Motoring Writers. And in the 1950s, Austin employed her to be their colourist on the A40, and in the 1970s, she did the interior patterns for Mini.
Wow, didn't know that.
Yeah,
you can understand why she's such a heavily known name.
So
she's a real pioneer. She's a busy woman.
Steph, this is your life. This is for you.
This is very kind of you to pass this on.
Sorry about the pink highlights. It's what I just wanted to highlight to you now.
No, this is really, really useful to know. I mean, my sister and I, we've been really fortunate that we've been exposed to these old cars. But to think that these women, they really had to fight for this. It wasn't necessarily just handed to them, or they had to really prove their their way. And I think that's really impressive.
With or without female excitability.
Yeah.
But I want to go back to another woman who is one of my favourite women, is Mildred Bruce. So she raced the AC, and she tested Bentleys in 1928 for the Bentley boys, the 4.5 litre supercharged blower. And she'd won some competitions, she'd won some sponsorship, and she bought a fold-up plane in Burlington Gardens, and she flew solo to Japan, and she was a wing walker. And she helped with the fuel-to-fueling in the air for the government. And she broke a record. She stayed up in the air for 2 days, fuel-to-fueling in the air. And before the war, she was doing cargo flights backwards and forwards to Paris. And she was one of the first people to put an air hostess in the air called Daphne. And then during the war, she made fuselages and carried on her air passenger corps. Then after the war, her fuselages weren't needed, so she made buses. I always call them route master buses, but they weren't. They were just buses. And so she's a lady that you need to look at, because she was a pilot and a racing driver.
She's somebody else, again, who's just done an absolutely amazing...
And this was in 1927, 28, 1930s
We
and
recently
40s.
went to Brooklands for the driving test, and they've got a lot of information there in the museum about lots of historical characters, but especially a few individual women. They've got the famous ladies' driving room and the lounge. And
so on the walls there, you'll have Doreen Evans and Kay Petre, obviously. You'll have Elsie Wisdom, and you'll have, you'll have all the different women who raced. Doreen Evans raced with her brothers. And then Faye Taylor was a speedway racer.
I just love the fact that they were doing it. They weren't necessarily doing it for fame or attention, because they probably weren't allowed to get it in those days, but they just, doing it with your brothers, just, I want to take part. Well, I want to have a go. Why not? I just love that attitude that they had. And imagine having a fold-up plane. And to go to Japan, it's, worldwide travel is so accessible for our generation.
And she recorded the journey. She was the first podcaster, I reckon, in my brain. But she there's a photograph of her taking this big recording device onto the plane. It's a huge recording device. I mean, mine's only a handheld thing, but hers was huge. But she recorded it, and when she didn't want to fly, she folded it up and put it onto a boat.
I just can't imagine it. It's absolutely brilliant.
And she bought it in Burlington Gardens. So I've walked up and down Burlington Gardens going, which building is it that she found?
I feel like I need to have a sabbatical and find a folding up aeroplane.
Well, it's called Bluebird because she was friendly with Malcolm Campbell. Whilst he was doing his time trials, she was doing her Monte Carlo rally. So they had telegrams next to each other, corresponding with each other. But she'd corresponded with him when she was flying as well.
Oh, and so she named the aircraft
Bluebird, yeah.
How lovely. Oh, I've always wanted to go to Japan. Maybe that's it. Was it a single-seater?
There's a picture of the plane. I don't know if it's got 2 seats or 1 seat. There's a picture of it though, and you'll know exactly what it is once you've seen it.
I have to do the old Googling.
But I want to know more about Daphne, the first air hostess.
I didn't even realise all of this. This is amazing. There's a lot of firsts, aren't there?
There are a lot of firsts. I mean, she was very persistent with Selwyn Edge when she was doing the Monte Carlo rally, that she wanted a really good windscreen because she was fed up of all the flies coming into her face. So she wanted a really good windscreen.
Unlike the lorry, who've got 2 little windscreens, and then there's a piece of mesh that's actually folding. It's
I see,
flat at the moment, but it will fold
a
up.
narrow strip of mesh for the flies.
For the flies, well, to sort of help in case there's any stones.
1928, did you say?
Yeah.
That's exactly what was going on with the AC.
Yeah. So in the front, you do have some protection, but in the back,
you're just covered in gauze and
you're
flies
getting blown away, as it were.
But so I thought I'd just tell you about Mill.
Yeah, thank you very much for this information.
2 bits from 2 ladies who are important for you, really.
I do love the story of Kay Petre in the glove compartment, being a sort of early pioneer for that, because she needed her.
Because you can tell, if you look in this Bentley, there are pockets. No, there aren't pockets on the side. mean, where do you put your lipstick?
It's going to be a problem. We'll have to think of something.
I mean,
this car was built for the 24-hour race, so maybe they just
didn't need lipstick.
didn't need it. It's got lots of cool features on it, but no lipstick cars.
These ladies wanted lipstick. Well, Steph, I think we should stop because we could talk about
all day.
Ladies.
Yes.
I could talk to you about ladies for a long time. Thank you so much.
No, thank you very much. I'm very sorry my sister couldn't be here to join us and give the real sort of sister act. But
we'll do, keep going. We'll talk to her in a couple of years.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. But thank you so much.
No, thank you very much for trekking down to join us in Kent.
Yeah, we're nearly in Calais.
I know. We did say actually earlier that prepare yourself, the French radio might come through on your cars.
Yeah, so hopefully we're getting any French coming onto this. Brilliant. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thanks. Well, join us next time when we talk to somebody else just as equally as exciting. I don't know where we'll be. Well, I do know, but we'll see which order they come out in. And thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed listening to our chat from the back of a Bentley Speed Six.